Welcome to the Endless Possibilities Podcast, where the journey of spiritual awakening and energy healing unfolds.
Now, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Endless Possibilities Podcast. My name is Gareth Duignam, and I'm your host. Today, as you can probably tell, this is going to be a solo podcast. I have compiled a number of questions that have been put to me recently, and I'm going to do a kind of a different format. Funny enough, I actually recorded this the other day, and it went really amazing. But for some reason, I didn't have the correct microphone selected, and it just didn't work out. So I'm going to go over it again. I thought the questions were great. So I'm going to get into it. Gareth, can you tell us about your own awakening journey? What was the moment that changed everything for you? There was a number of pivotal moments in my awakening journey. I guess one of the biggest things for me to see through was the belief that I was a finite being. I was a body, mind. I wasn't really religious. I didn't really have any sort of belief in an afterlife or God. So when I got into spirituality, I guess I had to come in from an angle that actually got my interest. So I was always really interested in business and being an entrepreneur, and the hook that the universe seemed to use to get me interested in everything seemed to be manifestation. So I came across Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, and discovered the power of affirmations and positive thinking. And I just devoured everything I could find on the subject and discovered that I could change my reality with how I was thinking. You know, if I put out an intent, if I could see it in my mind, if I could feel the emotion of having it, I could draw that towards me. Had no clue how it worked. All I knew was that there seemed to be a law in the universe, and if I sent out a message or an order, the universe would always respond. So that was breadcrumbs. I guess confirmation. It slowly got me interested. I then started meditating alongside doing that. Had one of my first meditative experiences. I had an experience of no mind, and I was existing as just pure awareness. There was a guided meditation, and it was leading me through this sort of process. And then all of a sudden, it was like, phew, I was just in the zone. And I was like, wow, whatever that is, I want more of it. And I think it was beginner's luck because I found it very difficult to get that back again. A few years later, then I would say probably the biggest what would I say? Paradigm shift for me was having an out of body experience, classic out of body experience, undeniable. Vibration started. I separated from my body. I existed outside of my physical form. I was able to move around, and I had many of these. These went on for about 2 years before fading away. That to me was the biggest confirmation that I am not my body. I am a spirit. If my body, dies or passes, that there is a component of this being that will live on. And it was huge. And that got rid of so much fear and anxiety around dying. So that was massive. Fast forward then, that was around 2010, 2016. I had a spiritual awakening. Um, I didn't know what a spiritual awakening was. I wasn't really interested in having a spiritual awakening. I wasn't really interested in enlightenment. I didn't know what enlightenment was. And I was interested in having a better life. I meditated, I went to the gym. I was always interested in having a better quality of being. And, I was doing mindfulness. I was kind of listening to Eckhart Tolle as well. Um, kind of being in the present moment. And then one day I got up to go into the gym before work, and I had a profound spiritual awakening, what I call waking up from the dream. It was like a lucid dream. It was God or the universe had dreamt itself into the character of Gareth. And in this moment of me making that statement about hearing the music within my consciousness, me seeing light, not externally, but within me, there was like a tear of fabric in my mind. And this greater reality woke up and looked at my eyes and knew itself. So that was one of the most profound experiences, the out of body experience and the spiritual awakening. And then that spiritual awakening basically started me off on my self discovery of who am I. It went on to unity consciousness and Brahman consciousness, and I then had a full Kundalini awakening. Many, many, many of these things were all profound, but those were the two biggest: the out of body experience and the awakening in the gym. What exactly is the Mother Force, and how does it work in your darshan sessions or Zoom meditations? The Mother Force. Okay, so as I started to go through my awakening process, I came across the concept of Kundalini. Kundalini is the energy in the body that keeps our being alive. And when we start to go through a spiritual awakening, there is a rewiring of our nervous system. And the Kundalini is basically responsible for that. It's at the base of the spine, and it rises up, clearing the system, clearing the chakras and the nadis, and eventually it gets up into the crown. And this is what they call the merging of Shiva. Shiva is consciousness up in the crown, and the Shakti is the energetic component of awakening or consciousness. And the two of them get up and into the crown, and the two become one. So over the years, I discovered these energy transmissions. ShaktiPat was one of them, which was the transfer of this feminine energy into the aspirant or the spiritual seeker to help awaken their own Kundalini. Then there was another component of consciousness that started coming in a little bit later, which was a descending energy, the truth aspect. I call the Sat, or the Supermental, it's also known as. But the two of them felt very different. There was another time where I had an experience of merging with the Divine Mother. And after that experience, I felt that she left something in my heart. And those two energies then sort of merged into one. So I could experience the two of them kind of like they blended. Before they didn't, it was almost like water and oil. The two of them would, kind of, if one came in, the other one would leave. So this is what I call the Mother Force. These are these two energies. So when I do my Zoom meditations, people can draw whatever they need. So even though there might be 100 people on my Zoom, different people can draw different energies from that mother force. Someone might be feeling the Shakti, they might be experiencing, a Kundalini moving, and then somebody might be feeling the descending energy. They might be feeling peace, equanimity. Another person might be noticing light coming into their awareness. So that's basically what the mother force is. I'm curious about ShaktiPat and the Supermental Force transmissions. Are they safe? What might someone experience during one? Yes, they are safe. Look, as with anything that you come across, you should always make sure you are of sound mind. You don't have any mental health issues. Because they can stir up a lot of stuff. If you have traumas in your system, these energies might bring them up to the surface and things might get quite intense. So if you have a lot of stuff going on in your personal life and then you start adding in these transmissions, things might get intensified just slightly. So are they safe? So, if you go and Google Kundalini awakening, you will find lots and lots and lots and lots of different perspectives on it. People will come out with horror stories. So I've been working with this energy for the last, 7 or 8 years now. And I have given probably people in the thousands ShaktiPat. And generally, ShaktiPat meets you where you are. If you're not ready for a Kundalini awakening, it won't do anything to you. If you are ripe, if you are ready to take this on, if Kundalini is part of your awakening process, then you will get exactly what you need. Look, if it's a thing you're even watching my videos, then I would imagine you are somewhat ready for this. So some of the horror stories that I have heard around Kundalini, it normally is people who have mistakenly activated it somehow using psychedelic drugs. Maybe they've come across a yoga book where they're taught how to do these bandits, where it's like locking and squeezing muscles and trying to force the Kundalini awake. That's usually not a good idea. What are the pros and cons of spiritual awakening? Cons to spiritual awakening? Well, an acceleration of your traumas, right? To be dealt with, to be felt. But in the long run, it's a pro, right? So you might notice that all your stuff is coming up, you're getting triggered more easily. But yeah, it's a good thing in the long run. You are getting to accelerate your healing, your awakening process. Is there any cons really? Look, people's lives do change around spiritual awakening. Old, friends can fall away, relationships, jobs, and stuff like that. But again, it's all vibrational. It's all frequency. If stuff doesn't align with the person you're becoming, it will just fall away naturally. How has awakening affected your relationships and everyday life? Do you still get angry or deal with normal human stuff? So I would say my my lower nature human emotions became way, way, way more refined, less reactive, more equanimity, less triggered. It's not to say I can't get triggered. It's not to say that, I can't get angry. The potential for all of these things is always there. We just don't know. Maybe there's a circumstance that I just haven't dealt with, that just hasn't tested me yet. Possible. Um, yeah, everyday life is good. I mean, I have definitely become more reclusive. I like my own company. I'm not really interested in socializing so much. I live a very simple life. I really enjoy um, being in my garden, nature, walks by myself. So, yeah, look, my life has changed. I don't need approval. I don't need, I don't care really what people think. Uh, yeah, what is the difference between a regular spiritual practice and the kind of deep realization, Brahman void state you talk about? Okay, so regular spiritual practice, I'm presuming that just means like self-realization, mindfulness. So we can get into spirituality. A lot of people get into it to have a better quality of life. They think that by meditating, they'll be a calmer, more peaceful. Their nervous system will be more regulated. Um, yeah, better version of themselves. These deeper or later stages of awakening are, yeah, like it's like a completely different ball game. I mean, you can have shifts like self-realization and still be very much here in everyday life. Just knowing that awareness is awake within. Whereas the Brahman stages are like literally your soul exits the matrix and you become one with void or nothingness beyond the matrix. So it's sort of a paradox. Your physical form is here. You're you're still able to interact, but your awareness is partitioned outside of creation. And you can kind of see that everything is projected on that nothingness. So it's for me, what would I started to notice was it was almost like when I didn't look at something, it didn't exist. It just I could almost sense that it was being projected by something. I didn't know what that something was, that what it was at the time, but something was projecting my reality. And when I would turn away, it felt like it would collapse or crumble. So that was huge, huge, huge. That took me a long time to integrate that. Um, Tell us about your retreats. What really happens there that you can't get online? Any funny or surprising stories? So the retreats. So, okay, again, if it's a thing that you don't really know too much about me and you just know me as the host of this podcast, I have been working as a spiritual teacher probably since 2019, around that time. Um, and I have been doing retreats since, yeah, 2020. So uh, I love doing retreats. I love being around people who are going through their awakening process. Um, a lot of my retreats are based on energy transmissions, ShaktiPat, um, direct experience. I don't do a whole lot of talking. It's a lot of meditating in the field, the energy. I go around, I touch people on the third eye. I meditate doing knee ShaktiPats. I put my hand on people's knees and meditate with them. And it's amazing. Like some of some of the funny stories there's a lot of laughter. The energy stirs up a lot of stuff. People can go into spontaneous laughing, crying, vocalizing. Very strange noises come out of people. People will, I don't know, I've heard people do bird sounds or, I've seen people like literally tears running down their face laughing that much. And that can go on for like 2 hours. Uh, It's really, really amazing. I've read your book, Waking Up from the Dream. What's one big illusion people need to wake up from right now? Well, we can't force awakening. It's kind of feels a little bit like an accident, but one thing that we need to wake up from right now is trying to be like everybody else, copying other people. One of the things I notice in spirituality is people mimic other people. They will, um, they'll talk in a certain way. If they've been watching certain videos around non-duality, all of a sudden they're speaking in non-dual terms, referring to themselves in the third person. Just be you, be authentic, be real. Um, yeah, I mean, just be real. Just turn up as you. Everything else will just fall into place. How do you recommend someone start working with you? Um, I mean, turn up to my Tuesday and Friday Zoom groups. So every Tuesday and Friday, on my website, truespiritualawakening.eu, or my own YouTube channel, which is True Spiritual Awakening as well. I do like a 90-minute meditation and darshan, and I've been doing this 7 years. So I do it for free. I sit Tuesday night, 9 p.m. UK time, Friday night, same time. And you can join me on Zoom. People come from all around the world. We sit, we meditate, and I send that awakening energy out to anyone who's open to receiving it. You can do mini groups with me. You can come on my retreats. I've got a whole list of retreats on my website. So if you go onto my website, go to services, you can go down, you can see one-to-one sessions. One-to-one sessions are very hard to book. I'm usually booked out 2 months in advance. I have mini groups, and then I have retreats, in-person retreats. I would say that in-person retreats are the best. People get the most from. Kundalini awakening sounds intense. What advice do you have for people going through it or wanting to awaken it safely? If you want to awaken your Kundalini safely, receive ShaktiPat. ShaktiPat meets you where you are. It's gentle, it's subtle, it's not going to send you into overdrive. It's not going to be all of this stuff can be. I mean, Kundalini awakening is a very, very powerful energy. I wrote about it in my book. And look, if you really, like, if you want to know what the spiritual awakening journey can be like, read my book, Waking Up from the Dream, or you can get it on the audiobook, or even watch some of my podcasts. I've been a guest on about 20 different podcasts now. Kundalini awakening for me was incredible. It was beautiful. It was like a love affair with the divine. For me, it was positive. I know there are some people who it's a little bit much for, but again, it's all about working on your system. There's lots of stuff you can do to make it easier. You can do yoga asanas. You can do pranayama. Just meditating. All of these things make a Kundalini awakening easier on your system. But ShaktiPat is, for me, without a doubt, the safest, most reliable, way to work with the Kundalini energy. As a spiritual teacher who doesn't want to be seen as a guru, that is definitely me, how do you stay grounded and keep things real with your students? So I really don't see myself as a guru. I don't really teach anything. I don't really have anything that I make people follow or want people to follow. Most of my teaching is just come, sit in that field, have a direct experience. For me, I I noticed that this work was cumulative, right? It was like as if the more I did, the better I felt, the deeper my consciousness was sort of knowing itself. So come and have a direct experience. Don't listen to what I'm just saying and take it as truth. Come, sit, have a direct experience, feel the energies. Don't give up too soon either. So many people will come, who are new to this and they don't feel it straight away. Stick it out. Your nervous system sometimes needs a little bit of extra time. Or you may feel it straight away. I get emails from people just saying, Gareth, I watched one of your videos. I could feel energy straight away. So yeah. What does living in the present moment or unplugged from the matrix actually look like in daily life? So, I mean, living in the present moment. Well, like my mind doesn't attach to the future or the past. I don't sit there reminiscing on what could have been or, thinking about things that went wrong in my life or, that's not there. And the same with the future. I don't sit thinking about the outcome of certain things that are going on in my life. I just turn up and let the chips fall where they may. I deal with things when they arise. My mind doesn't go out to things that it can't control, right? So I don't sit thinking about things that aren't right in front of me. Yeah, great questions. So just, if you would like to help this channel out, hit subscribe. Subscribing will let YouTube know that we are a worthwhile program on their platform, and they push us out to new audiences. And it means more exposure for me. My work gets to go out to the people who need it most. The guests that we have on the show will get more exposure, and you guys get to see new content put out every week. So it's a win-win. Questions have been amazing. Thank you so much. And if you have questions, if you really like this format and you'd like to see me do more of it, drop questions down below. Yeah, we'll compile them and we'll do another Q&A very soon. Okay. Thanks so much, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
This has been the Endless Possibilities Podcast, where the journey of spiritual awakening and energy healing unfolds. Gareth is a lifelong seeker of truth, a spiritual teacher and author, and it's his passion to delve into the profound world of consciousness. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and we hope you've gotten something from it. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, the podcast is available on YouTube and all the major podcasting platforms. Find us on Instagram at _mother_force. Take care, and we'll see you soon on the Endless Possibilities Podcast.